Hi, so Chloe Brooks here, and I'm doing a critical investigation of my leadership role within University of Worcester Netball Coach. Now, I used peer analysis of myself and my teams, and I used the multi-factor leadership questionnaire Form 6S, established by Bass and Avolio in 1992. Now, this is a quantitative questionnaire using 21 items, and it's been validated and its reliability has been confirmed in various contexts and concepts within leadership. So it's a really good validated questionnaire to use. Now, from this, it has positives and it has negatives. Obviously, it's a validated questionnaire, it's reliable, that's all great. However, sometimes using less descriptive and quantitative data can mean that it doesn't always get your full perspective of yourself or your followers. Therefore, results may not always be what people are trying to say. So it could be backed up with qualitative data. But for the purpose of this assignment, it was perfect and it worked really well. So I used 10 participants from my 12-member team and myself to critically analyse my leadership as this role. So currently, my team lacks a little bit of engagement and motivation as a team to work together. We lack team cohesion, and it really affects our performance on court. So what I wanted to do is understand if my leadership traits were affecting that or making that worse, and how I could plan to improve that and adapt it. So what I did is I used the responses from this questionnaire to find out what traits I currently implement, and it found out that I used full range of leadership, but for the purpose of this assignment, I focused on the top 4. And these were idealized influence, inspirational motivation, management by exception, and contingent reward. So these form into transformational and transactional. And I personally rated myself to be more transactional leader, and my followers, my team, saw me as more of a transformational leader. But these were rated to top 4 by myself and the team. These can be seen in the table in the write-up. So management by exception, this suggests that I monitor my team, I try to monitor their performance and take any corrective action before negative outcomes occur. Contingent reward, this suggests that with my team I ask them to complete tasks and I'll give them a reward in return. So inspirational motivation, I motivate my team, I inspire them, I try to be a role model for them and work towards an ideal goal for both of us. Whereas idealized influence, again, they see me as a role model, they take on traits that I use, and I try to make that hardworking, dedicated. However, as we'll see, perhaps that doesn't always come across. So we'll focus on management by exception and contingent reward first. As stated, these are transactional. Here we've got transformational. Now, within the transactional side of things, we'll focus on management by exception first. These can quite often cause some negative impacts within the team, which has been found within the literature, especially if the team isn't unified, which is what we've currently found. And if the environment isn't stable, is it going to make the issues already worse? Is it going to further decrease the cohesion? Very possible. It's also been found to increase stress and conflict within a team, which is really what we don't want. So I need to make sure I really monitor my actions within MBE to make sure this doesn't worsen the team and their cohesion. Now, contingent reward. This is, again, like I said, using a reward for task completion. Now, I found that within all of my awards that I've given, they've all been psychological. They've all been praise. I haven't actually given my team anything tangible for them to take away, and that might not be as value of them. And if they don't value the reward I'm giving them, it's been found that that's not going to motivate them. It means that my leadership isn't pushing them to reach their potential or to complete the tasks I've asked them to do. So this is something that I need to really keep an eye on for sure. Now, moving on, we'll go over to the transformational side. So inspirational motivation. As it does what it says on the tin, this can help to motivate, inspire, increase engagement, all working towards that shared objectives and the shared identity of the team. Now, together, inspirational motivation and idealized influence have been suggested to be called charismatic inspirational leadership. So I'm going to discuss this whole branch as charismatic inspirational leadership and the positives and negatives it can cause within that team. So from here, charismatic leadership, using inspirational leadership as well, can help for the followers to perceive me as a role model. They have respect for me. They had admiration for me. And that's all through me motivating and inspiring them. And now this is great, and it means they'll identify with me as a coach. But this isn't going to necessarily increase their team performance or increase their team cohesion, because that's only me, that's our identifying with me, not their team, not as a collective. So it's not necessarily working towards one of our shared goals, which is to win matches. So from here, I wanted to understand how charismatic inspirational leadership can positively influence the team to work towards that goal. And within literature, I found that it can help to empower participants, increase their confidence and their self-esteem, kind of under the same bracket. And now, again, within these, if I can use those tangibly and really rein them in, I can hope to increase their performance on court. And if their performance on court increases, and their empowerment and their confidence within their team as individuals and players and all together, that will increase the cohesion, increase their performance on court, and increase their satisfaction as a follower and as a player on my team. So what I needed to understand, that also from this there are negatives, as always. So if I don't utilise charismatic leadership effectively, what can be really bad is that we can see an effect of narcissism. And that can suggest that players perceive me to be working in a self-interest, that I only have my interests at the best. And that's going to decrease their motivation, they're going to be disengaged and demotivated by me. And we really, really don't want that. There can also be manipulation. Now, as a leader, I know that I wouldn't do this, but that doesn't mean that my followers aren't going to perceive it if I don't come across in the right way. And that can also cause the same negative effects as narcissism. It can create increased dependence on me as a leader, and that's going to mean that my followers are not taking the initiative, whether it be on-court, off-court, training, working with their peers. They're going to be relying on me to give them every single port of call and every action, which could negatively link back to my contingent reward, whereas I'm constantly asking them to task, reward, and that exchange theory. So I need to make sure that I give some control back to my followers to increase their confidence. So from here, what I wanted to do is set myself out a plan. How was I going to use this critical analysis to better myself, better my team, and make it more efficient? Now, I already know from this critical analysis that I have the transformational foundation in place. Now, literature suggests that transactional and transformational leadership can work really well together. So I'm going to utilise that. Now, I have the transformational base in place. I've earned their respect. They are inspired by me. They admire me as a coach. Brilliant. I'm going to need to make that more of a tangible tool to make their performance better on court. So from here, management by exception. Within management by exception, I'm going to monitor their team and individual performance. Who's attending to training, what effort are they putting in, that again as a team and individual, so I can make sure I can really get a good rein in on that. I'm also going to set warning signs to make sure that my leadership isn't having any of these negative effects, and these may be change in attitude or not coming to training. What are the warning signs that are popping up to me that my players may not be working towards our shared goal? So in here, warning signs. Following on, contingent reward. Now, as suggested, all of my rewards so far have been praise, psychological. So I need to add in some tangibility. From here, the two ones I'm going to focus on are 7 stars tickets, so that's a university team, everyone loves going, that's a really good sort of reward for them to have, and we can hopefully go as a team. But also we've got our end of year season awards, so I'm going to start implementing that as a tangible reward to motivate and engage players. Now I need to make sure in here that can also work towards increasing our performance on court, so whether that be having weekly awards that are tangible, such as the tickets, to help link that to our performance outcomes. And lastly, we've got charismatic inspirational leadership, taking into account our idealised influence and our inspirational motivation. So from here, I want to confirm with players that we're working towards that shared goal. And that's really important to make sure that they don't view me as having that narcissism or trying to manipulate them. It's a really important aspect. And also to decrease their dependence on me as a leader. So this is going to be done, as I've noted here, through using training drills to implement their confidence back into themselves as individuals, as players, and as a team, and for them to realise that they can perform better without relying on me. And actually, when all 14 of them are on court, they can work really well and push themselves to increase their performance. So now that I have my plan, I'm going to reflect on this whole journey of that critical reflection. So what's it allowed me to do? It's allowed me to critique my current leadership traits. It's allowed me to investigate where I perceive myself to be, where my team perceive myself to be, and how is that influencing their performance on court and my relationship with them. It was quite interesting because I thought I'd be more of a transformational leader. However, that was perceived by my players. I viewed myself as more transactional, which was an interesting role for me to really delve into for sure and reflect upon and utilise that. So therefore, as suggested, it's allowed me to identify my traits as a leader and address action that needs to occur. Identify my traits as a leader, identify the positives, negatives, how that can affect the performance, address how that can affect me, my team, and as I said, how am I going to change that and utilise it and really rein it in and use that towards the benefit of the next 3 months. And then I'm going to take action. Now I've said about the plan, my plan of action. I'm only in the role for the next 3 months. I've already had 4 months in the role. 3 months does not utilise enough time to change my whole coaching philosophy. That is why I'm going to adapt and change the leadership traits I currently have, so I don't go back into the next season and my players think, gosh, it's completely changed and I have to start all again when I only have 3 months left. The best way I personally think is to adapt my current coaching styles to a more efficient and effective way of leading my team to success. So from there, that kind of summarises my critical reflection using peer and self-analysis. I've used a lot of literature to back up my findings, so please do look on the document that should be linked below to have a little read through of all of this huge brainstorm of my analysis and any underpinning literature and theories within that as well. Thank you.